now you mostly know me because of my love for Cookie Run Kingdom. After my commentary, of course. But it's not the only thing I like. One of those other things is Alnsttwt. Just like the former, I've been liking Alnsttwt since last year. The first I've ever heard of it was Blink-on edits on YouTube Shorts. Then I remember Wish, where after I was allowed to use my phone after finishing the Spanish test, everyone was tweaking on fucking Twitter. It was around that time that I actually joined the fandom. I even bought some fan merch during a convention in Bergamo last year before Karma was out. The artist was very nice too. She's on Twitter if you want to check her out or something. Karma, there are a lot of things before that. The dreadful wait. Look at fans being scared for their life and his life after that clip of Meteor in the gun. The old fans being delusional, just to be revealed they were actually right the whole time. Seriously though, we still have to apologize to tell fans for that. And now, new stuff is coming in less than a month, so let's go I guess. But, if you've been in this fandom for some time, you'll know that some new shit has to happen every 2 weeks or so. Which for me, is both kind of annoying as someone wishes to have a fun time, well unless the thing is actually serious, but also interesting as someone who loves watching drama from the sides. But still, why do I join a fandom where everyone is happy with everything and then as soon as I'm in it turns into a drama or complaining tournament? It happened 3 times in 2 years, maybe even 4. This is not normal. No, I swear, don't wish me to join your fandom because I think I might be cursed. I don't want to ruin shit. Anyways, this week something new happened and since I don't have much else to talk about, I said to myself, well, I guess I'll cover this. So yeah, whatever. Enjoy! Hello mia bella gente, it's me, Stellx or just Stella, again, your favorite Italian commentator, real keeper, and apparently Victorian age vampire since so many people say I sound like one. Anyways, I hope you all had a nice week and that you'll have a nice weekend because today's yapping session is going to be an interesting one. And I can promise that because I saw this shit folding up live literally this week. It happened in the past few days, just as I needed something for a script. Well, a lot actually happened for a script this week, but I choose what I want. Best for me to decide the ones I feel like I can speak about without having conscious or subconscious biases that could make me spew bullshit. Maybe if commentators realize that they don't have to cover everything, that sometimes they are just not paid to speak on it, then maybe there will be less beef around the community. Anyways, my own little grudges aside, buckle up or get something to eat in the meantime. Maybe draw something while you listen to me. Trust me, I do that too every time, so don't feel too called out. And just, well, I don't know, see what happens. Before we go into it though, we might need to know exactly how we even got here. And to do so, we need to know what Alnsttwt and yumeshipping is, which most of you probably know already, but just to make sure we're all on the same road, let's give you a little summary on both. Alnsttwt is a multimedia Korean project series made by Vivinos and Kumang. It is mainly known for its songs, which you can find on YouTube as multiple animated parts of the story, the main narrative that everyone knows about. To understand better the context of the series and the characters though, you will have to go read the multiple comics and sometimes even the birthday art alongside the sub-songs. That's why it's considered a multimedia project. Speaking of sub-songs, you should listen to them! My favorites are Witch and Paradise. I also really like Take My Hand and Mirror. If we are talking about the main songs from the web series though, I'd say My Clematis and Black Sorrow. Sweet Dream as well actually. Anyways, the main web series ended last year in June with the song and video Karma. But more is coming next month, June again! With more songs and things for the most hardcore fans to analyze and theorize about. And thinking about it as I'm writing this, it makes me excited. I really can't wait. I don't even know what to expect, to be honest. But really, I won't really spoil too much about it for the people who want to get into it. But just so you know about the basics of the plot. In alien stage, humans are enslaved into pets by an alien race known as the Seageans. And there's also a show where human pets participate in a singing competition, where the loser dies. And that's where the main story takes place. Our main sets are Miji, or Miji if you want to use the Korean pronunciation, Sua, Tail, Ivan, Luca, and Yuna. Choose your favorite wisely. It's not a suggestion, it's a warning. Then, there's also the side and background characters, but you'll learn about them as you go on, or you will never, and they'll still be your favorite for some reason. Yes, I'm mostly referencing that account about the My Clematis NPC woman on TikTok. You know who you are. You can go watch all of this on YouTube after you're done with this video. But basically, in the end, the main theme of the whole series is love, and how even the most innocent form of it gets somewhat twisted by the characters because of the environment the Seageans forced them in, and how they end up dealing with the trauma and action they make because of said environment. Now, next part. Yumeshipping instead is a term that can be traced from dream novels, aka yumeshipper, which is a style of Japanese fanfiction born in the 90s, which began to be used more in the West on Tumblr back in the 2010s. So, even though the term got a giant spike of popularity around last year or just recent times, the history behind it is actually decades old, can you believe it? Now, the most discussed way of popular human shipping is in a romantic sense, but it can also be with platonic or even familial relationships, and it can be practiced with as both a self-insert or a no-see-it canon. Based on studies of 2024 and just general studies from experts, these interactions are considered to be parasocial by them, but still, they can have beneficial effects on your mental health like stress relief and emotional regulation. It can also be meaningful for those who suffer from social anxiety, loneliness, or just for those who are going through a period of life transition. All of this, of course, as long as it is not used as a replacement for real human connections. The human shipping community is a community that you've probably heard of a lot in the past few months. People that share their stories and experiences with human shipping and talk about their FOs, which are their fictional others. It is important though that some people are non-sharing, meaning they don't want to interact with users who also humeship with their FO, known as doubles. This community is also known from dramas happening from time to time, but I guess it's normal enough. They even have their own Discord servers, even one for non-sharers exclusively, which sounds cool to me, but at the same time, they seem a bit tricky to manage. Maybe it's also because I don't even know how to make a functioning Discord server. But as long as the moderators have the needed maturity and experience for moderating, then nothing should go extremely wrong. Hopefully. There are also many other terms, but if we stay here for too long, then we cannot actually start the main point of the video, so let's get into the drama, shall we? Recently on Twitter, an account popped up in the alien stage and Yume community on the platform, named Ivan Alnsttwt. And just by reading the bio and just looking at the account, any normal alien stage fan will notice a good bunch of red flags. Let me explain. Let's begin with Ivan. We've already mentioned this guy, and he's the one this person is Yume shipping herself with a self-insert named Joel. Well, to be honest, it also makes sense she's named Joel. Like, one of the guys is literally named Acorn, bro. A fucking acorn. These aliens do not know how to name humans for shit. Anyways, he's probably one of the most popular characters of the entire franchise, if not the most popular, fighting for the title with Luca, despite not being the main character. Now, if you don't know anything about Alnsttwt, you wouldn't understand what the problem will be. I get it. But something important about Ivan is that he's always implied to be gay and to feel no attraction towards women. And this person is a girl. Now, many will say that technically the creators have never specified Ivan's or anyone's sexuality, which is indeed true, don't get me wrong. But there is no instance showing Ivan being attracted to girls. Quite the opposite, actually. In this year's birthday toodles, which she tried to use as a defense by saying he did gay girls, it is also stated that the only times he has ever accepted any confessions from girls was because of boredom, and the only flirting without words on was because that girl had a crush on Tail, which is also Ivan's canonical love interest, who is also a boy. I don't think you need a media analysis degree to clearly tell that all of these instances don't come out of an actual attraction or romantic interest towards any of the girls Ivan interacted with. Just driving them away from Tail, and because he was just that fucking bored. I don't know how fucking bored you have to be to just accept a random ass people you don't even like, but okay. I told you this character's environment didn't get into a full moral compass. You gotta get that clear if you want to watch the show. So yeah, I'm sorry for you, girl, truly. But the guy is clearly an homosexual. Another defense that she has used recently is those new art pieces from the college march, which was anyone actually taking them seriously? I thought it was just an addition for the party team behind these artworks and future merch. Also, girl, the risk is literally Heartbreak Zone, which does fit with what we've seen between the birthday art here if you want to be honest. But yeah, sexuality aside, if I was you, I'd look for another man, but you do you. Also, I prefer girls anyway, so. Now, there are pairs. I don't even want to say them out loud from how much they fucking suck! Usually in fandom, a rare pair is considered a shit that doesn't receive much attention, and it's just very uncommon from the main ships, with very little fanworks. But I've also heard from people that it also means a ship between two characters with little to no interaction in canon. And the more I keep going with the research of these shipping terms, the more I realize how they can all end up overlapping with each other. It is important to say that rare pairs in the Alnsttwt fandom are already a controversial topic more than usual fandom. This is because of how the story heavily centers around the main pairs. So shipping these characters with someone else besides their canon interest, even if it keeps their canon sexuality in mind, feels weird, especially in the minds of the TikTok side of the fandom. Nah, before you get it wrong, I don't hate rare pairs. I left that inability to understand them behind 2 years ago already. And if you've been around on this channel for some time, you probably already know that I'm the strongest Karamaki soldier myself after all. Though I wasn't the first one to ever ship them, I just saw one at it once and slowly got addicted to it. But just like Ivan, while Teal is more implied to be bisexual or anything under that umbrella, Midzi and Sua are very much implied to be both lesbians and are the main couple of the series. During her childhood, Sua always had to reject boys that were attracted to her, even multiple times for the same boy, aka Icon. And Midzi has a whole comic where she calls the idea of a male and female being bound to fall in love kinda gross, just to be slapped for it. And with Sua saying she felt that guy was up to no good, could easily hint that she had to deal with similar boys as well. If that's not clearly meant to be about being a lesbian in a heteronormative society, being looked down upon and brutalized because of it, then I don't know what it is. Especially with the creators who made it being a lesbian couple themselves. You cannot deny these implications behind. You'd have to walk on straws to do so. It will be a thing if no implications existed, but they do, and they are very obvious unless you only watch the videos on YouTube. Maybe. But considering this person looks at Ivan's birthday art, then I can assume that she has watched other parts beside those videos. Unless she only cares about the Yavin content and watches nothing else about the characters. Speaking also of the post, it is true that she did claim to be a lover for helpers, but there was never a word for other helpers that are also kind of popular like Yumizi. The only time she reposted a canon shit that wasn't Tayoluka was actually Ivan Tail. But only with Tail being gender swapped. Ivan's still a boy. The closest thing we got was her reposting people who tried to retaliate against her by shipping an old sentence with Mizi as a joke, saying, "Haha, you think it makes me mad? So I'm gonna repost it. Guess who wins? Na 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 na." And then, some art of Ayuna Kiss meter where Sue and Mizi are actually included, but she only reposted the ones with Ivan, Isaac, and Dewey. And for those who don't know, Isaac and Dewey are two side characters of the Rebellion, which is the group Yuna is in, and in which Maisie will join eventually. And you Isaac is another somewhat popular secondary ship with Yuna. But anyways, I went through all our posts and I couldn't find anything besides this. If they started posting Wulu or MLM art all of a sudden after this video or just after the situation began, which has not happened as of now, it will be kind of hard to not say it as they're trying to damage control, I'm sorry. Even if I tried to give her the strongest benefit of the doubt ever, she still holds some harmful bias at best. In the end, there is a reason why I always explicitly confirm my stories OC, sexuality and gender identities. At least I don't have to deal with this bullshit. Look at Joshna, man. They do anything to deny that girl is into girls only. Now am I kidding it? They deny it anyways. They say they just can do whatever they want, no matter how important it is to the story, because who cares, right? Though yes, I do have confirmed gender identities and sexualities, but it's fine as long as you don't erase those pre-established one to add some extra headcanon if you want. I don't care about that. But story aside, now there's an actual debate in the yumeshipping community about the morality of shipping yourself with a gay or lesbian character as the opposite gender, some defending it since they're just fictional characters. It is true that Ivan is not real, so is Midzi or Sua. But these characters exist for a reason, to tell a story, and their queerness is very important to their story, especially Midzi's. The main character, whose part of her POV comic centers around that fact. And besides, it's not like a character's queerness can only be taken seriously if they have a big story centered around that. Some characters can just be homosexuals. That's it. Pretending their sexuality doesn't exist even for some fanon universe erases an important piece of the story and representation from people who are also struggling due to being queer in an heteronormative society. This is why people also say that there is usually a difference between changing a canonical straight characters and a queer one, because straight characters have always been the norm, and there is no society that will kill you and erase you for being straight. Also, if we want to be truly honest, 99% of the straight characters people mention in this debate don't even have full implications of being straight, and their sexualities are more ambiguous. But you know why straight characters never have coding or implication towards their sexuality? Well, because they don't need to. Straight people are seen as the norm, even when they have no canon interest and were never shown to be attracted towards anyone. People will automatically label them as straight, because it is seen as the primary or just the usual sexuality, the default. And even someone's suggestion of them liking the opposite gender or even just, being aroace is enough to send these people into a crazy rage. Oh my god, that girl that likes girls? No, impossible! Na. Maybe when countries started banning or not recognizing the existence of straight cis people, then We can get back to talk about this, alright? Good. That's a deal, and I don't break deals usually. But anyways, this person kinda got ridiculed and even responded to it. Well, it's okay, girl. Nothing can hurt me as well. I had to come to the conclusion my favorite character was already dead by the time we even met her in the story, and then I had to witness her dying again! I am prepared for anything that life will throw me. Until my last very breath, oh my god, them sister fucking hates the Cheese Kingdom and the fairies. They hate them. They hate them. I hate them too. Okay, anyways, let's conclude. Well, that's it. There's not much left I can explain. This was the whole main thing. There are other things people have pointed out about this person, but this was the whole reason the situation even began. The question is, why would you even get into a heavily queer media if you're going to refuse to actually engage with it and straight up erase the character's queer coding? It doesn't make sense to me. It sounds more like a boring and sad way of life in my eyes. It's not like there's no media full of straight people you can go and interact with. You'll never run out of options with those. You've had this chance for a century, the beginning of time, and yet you're like you've being invaded just because people wish to be more represented. But anyways, speaking of nicer things, the next alien stage is arriving next month, so what do you think we'll see? Are we excited for the new songs and plot? Because I am. Also, Timekeeper update time! I've already finished both episodes and I can't wait for the next one next week. I still have to get Timekeeper though, but I only need another 10 pulls for the guarantee. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get there before the banner ends. Trust me, it will be the first time. The only time I actually managed was like Old Legendaries and Awakened Ancients. The Beasts and Dark Enchanters gave me fucking hell just to get them. I won't even want to talk about that. But not gonna lie, speaking of shipping, I am very close to shipping my World Soul now with Timekeeper. Yes, Chess, Stealth Keeper is canon now, trust me, I'm Dev Sisters. Still, speaking of the update though, I am also very curious about how the story will play out because, to be honest, I am left very confused. Everything looks so different to what I'm used to, but I can't wait to see everything else. Also, I am trying to pull for some costumes, but I'm still keeping my 50k budget for the Bites costumes. But I simply bought candy apples from the shop. It was already there, so why not? I like the costume, she's adorable and she's purple. I like purple, it's my favorite color. My whole song is fucking purple and black. Not gonna lie, I still wish we had some time before Act 2 started. I would have enjoyed seeing more of the ancients coping with White Lily's death, and what they thought about the demise of the beasts and Silent Salt, considering his role. And now, and even how all their helpers were gonna deal with everything after the war, because they got a big ass beating in the war. Caramellaro, you're fucking lucky you're setting the Citadel. Those motherfuckers were getting jumped. Seriously though, if I was DevSys for real, I would have made a whole update for every kingdom, even the Fairy Kingdom. All centered about that, all centered about their lives, all centered about that and characters and shit. Yeah, I'm that crazy, but I digress. Still, I hope you're enjoying the update and you get all the cookies you want. Okay, I'm done here. I'll be on my 4-day trip next week and I'm returning on Friday, so we'll have to see if I can actually make another video for then. But still, after that things will remain as usual, and at the end of the month, you'll get my OC video that I promised. See you soon everyone, still sad for the day. Okay, but seriously though, I want more mozzarella content, I don't fucking care, give it to me.